Do you know what silence is? No, don't answer. You think silence is just a void, an empty space that means nothing, don't you? You think it's just the absence of noise, the absence of words. But you couldn't be more wrong. Silence, you see, is not a nothingness. It is a weapon. It is a power. One that you cannot see, cannot understand until it's too late. It's the quiet before the storm, the pause before the explosion. It's the gap between the whispers, the silence between the screams. And it's in that silence, that space where the world cannot hear, that's where everything changes. They ignored me. They all did. They thought I was nothing. They dismissed me as insignificant. I was invisible to them. But you know what? That's when I learned the true nature of silence. And now they will regret it. Oh, they will regret it forever. The funny thing about silence is how easily it's taken for granted. People are so focused on noise, on the clamor of life, that they never think to listen. They never stop to wonder what's happening in the silence. It's almost poetic, isn't it? They keep talking, and they never hear the dangerous silence creeping up behind them. Let me tell you a little secret. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. Silence is power. And the longer you stay silent, the more potent that power becomes. People think you're harmless when you don't speak, when you don't make a sound. They laugh, they mock you, they don't take you seriously. But all the while, that silence is building, growing like a storm, just waiting for the moment when it will break. And when it breaks, it will be too late for them to run, too late to beg for mercy, because silence doesn't forget. Silence doesn't forgive. Silence is a ticking time bomb. They always thought I was weak, thought I was just another face in the crowd, another overlooked nobody. They pushed me aside, ignored me when I asked for help, dismissed me as though I were some insignificant insect. They didn't care to hear me. They didn't care to see me. And that's the beauty of it. They think that by silencing you, by making you invisible, they've won. But they don't understand. They never did. It's the ones who are ignored, the ones who are dismissed, who are the most dangerous. You see, you don't have to be loud to make an impact. You don't have to scream to be heard. You just have to wait. Wait for the moment when they least expect it. Wait for the moment when their arrogance blinds them. And when they think they've won, that's when it begins. That's when silence turns into fire. You know what's funny? Society prides itself on progress, on evolution, on being better than the past. But look closely, and you'll see the truth. People are so quick to throw away those they don't understand, the ones who don't fit into their perfect little world, the quiet ones, the forgotten ones, the ones who fade into the background unseen and unheard. Society has no place for us. They pretend we don't exist, like we're nothing. But let me tell you something. In that silence, in that neglect, something grows, something dangerous. And when society finally notices, when they finally hear the roar, it's too late. They've ignored us for too long. And now they'll regret it. It wasn't always like this. I didn't always see silence as a weapon. There was a time when I was just like them, silent, yes, but not for the reasons you might think. I was overlooked, forgotten, a shadow in a world that didn't care to notice me. There were moments when I reached out, when I tried to speak, to be heard, but no one listened, no one cared. I was ignored, rejected, humiliated. Every time I tried, every time I hoped for just a sliver of recognition, I was met with nothing but silence in return. And that was my turning point. A backstory of how the Joker was pushed to the edge. I was a joke, a nobody. They laughed at me, mocked me, and they thought it was funny. They thought it was funny when I was shoved aside. They thought it was hilarious when I failed. I was a walking punchline in their little world, but no one saw the pain behind the laughter. And then came the betrayal. A friend, no, a fool, left me, abandoned me at my lowest. He didn't see me for who I was. He didn't hear me. He saw only what he wanted to see, and when I reached out for help, silence. Complete, utter silence. That was the moment when something inside of me snapped. I realized then, silence is not a void. Silence is a power that can either destroy you or set you free. Let this be your warning. The quiet ones are the most dangerous, because while you were busy ignoring us, we were watching, we were learning, we were waiting, and now it's too late. They'll regret your silence forever.